Hey Title Tribe, welcome back to another reading. Today's reading is all about answering the question, what will bring you the most career or job fulfillment? So whether you're just starting out or you've been in a certain industry but you're feeling stuck, or maybe some of you here are looking to align your work with your purpose, this is the reading that's here to help guide you toward more joy, purpose, and success in your work life. Now, if you are new to Pick a Card readings, here's how it works. The first thing that you're going to do here is you are going to pick the pile or the crystal that you are the most intuitively drawn to. So we have pile 1 here with the Flint crystal. We have pile 2 here with the Amazonite crystal. We have pile 3 here with the Serpentine crystal. And then we have pile 4 here with the Seafoam Calcite crystal. You can choose one pile, you can choose more than one pile, or you can choose all of them. It is totally up to you. But when you've chosen your pile or piles, go to the description of this video so that you can find your timestamp that is linked to your pile. Then you can skip ahead to your reading all about what will bring you the most career or job fulfillment. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I will see you on the inside, friends. All right, so pile 1, what will bring you the most career or job fulfillment? Let's first talk about your current energy in your career or your work. Let's talk about where you're at right now. And you can also use this as a confirmation on whether this is your pile or not. If what I'm about to say sounds like you, then this is your pile. But if it's not really sounding like you might want to try a different pile. So where are you right now in your career, pile 1, right? What is the current energy? So we have the Knight of Stones here, which is the Knight of Pentacles. And this represents things like steadiness and dedication and making this methodical progress. It also talks about responsibility. Pile 1, I wonder if you're in a place of reliability and hard work. Maybe you're not making big dramatic moves right now, but you're in a place where you're making consistent and dependable moves. You might be the one that other people trust to get it done, especially in, like collaborative or detail-oriented environments. I feel like you've been laying down stones carefully. So there's this strong sense that you've been building something, even if it feels slow. And I feel like, maybe you might be the dependable project manager or admin lead who's quietly keeping everything together. This is just an example, by the way. But I think that you're the one who knows how to keep everything together behind the scenes, or maybe you're somebody who consistently helps other people reach their goals, right? So maybe you're a partner, or you work on a team, or you're an employer, but maybe you don't ask for much in return. So there's definitely this strong earthy energy here, grounded, dutiful, but possibly underappreciated. We also have Brown Bear Spirit. This one says take time out. So with this one, I feel like this confirms that while you're committed and responsible, you might be overextending yourself, or maybe some of you here feel like you're running on empty. So maybe some of you here are caught in like a work rhythm that either prioritizes productivity or kind of like hustle culture over creativity and like self-reflection. So bear energy here calls for solitude and recalibration and stepping back to gain some perspective. So for example, pile 1, if you've just been grinding nonstop, it's time to take a break, right? Not just for rest, but to assess if this steady path is truly your path, right? Maybe you need some quiet time to reconnect with what matters to you personally and not just professionally. I like to take all signs too. So we've got a dog just barking in the background. And so when I think of dog, I think of loyalty. So pile 1, are you loyal to something, someone, some sort of situation at work that like maybe you're loyal to them but they're not as loyal to you? Because the Knight of Pentacles can also talk about loyalty and commitment and all that. So I'm curious. All right, let's look at our animal power book. I'll link this book for you in the description if you feel called. But let's find out if there's any more insights from Bear Spirit. Bear. Okay. All right. So Bear. This one says grounded power, stabilizing comfort, consciousness, surrender into divine support, and courage. When to work with me? When you need to energetically be recharged. When you need comfort, when you want to feel held by the love of the universe, when you want to learn to go within and trust yourself, when you want to feel more grounded, when you need to stand in your power. energy medicine. If you are experiencing a time of awakening, a time where previously held illusions or denials are now releasing and coming to light, tap into my support as you rise and change. Honor the rhythms of your life and recognize whether now is the time for you to rest and cultivate new ideas and new foundations, or whether now is the time for you to step out of your cave and present yourself to the world. Remember, you cannot hide forever. I am a powerful reminder for you to get more grounded. Walk barefoot on the earth, give her great thanks, and allow yourself to receive the earth medicine to stabilize and root your power. You are at a place in life when you are ready to unearth the incredible ancient wisdom, intuition, and inner power that has previously lain dormant. It is time for you to bring forward new abilities. Do not seek outwardly for answers right now. Trust yourself. Do practices that take you within. Listen to the guidance that is revealed from inside of you and heed it. Interesting. I wonder if some of you here have been like feeling like you need more courage to like make the leap or make a different career move or a transition in some way. Very, very interesting, pile 1. What will bring you true fulfillment, right? What is the career theme? What is your calling? What is that role? So we do have the 8 of Stones, and this is the 8 of Pentacles. So this represents things like mastery, craftsmanship, learning through doing, and refinement. So pile 1, I feel like your true fulfillment lies in deep, focused craftsmanship. So it's something that you can immerse yourself in, right? So like anything to do around skill building or refinement. It's not about quick wins or flashy roles, but it's about getting lost in the joy of what you love to do. And it can suggest that you would thrive in a role where your hands or your mind or your heart are engaged in building or creating something that lasts, right? Especially as it has to do with value. So a couple examples here, you know, maybe like a writer or an editor, somebody who's honing their voice over time. I also would think that with this, maybe like a healer or a body worker or some sort of intuitive guide who develops their tools through practice. Again, I feel like it's like artisan energy, maybe being a designer or a builder or someone in a craft or trade who takes joy in perfecting details. I also think that maybe this could be like a spiritual or a holistic practitioner who is refining their offerings or creating some sort of body of work. Now, we also have many masks. This one says the authentic self. So with this card, I feel like you'll be most fulfilled when you no longer have to wear a mask. So this could mean leaving behind roles where you feel like you have to perform for approval or you have to like fit a mold in some way. I do feel like you're being called toward work that allows you to bring your full, weird, wonderful, complex self to the table. So this is your time to embrace your range, pile 1, your spiritual side, your analytical side, your quiet side, your bold side. Maybe for some of you here, this is you stepping into a more multifaceted, multidimensional creative career, right? So maybe you're somebody who is a coach, but also an artist, but also a writer, but also a healer, right? Like the combo of all of those things. Another thing here too is I feel like some of you here are going to launch your own platform or brand or business where you don't have to fit in. And this is going to be super duper fun. I feel like you're going to get like a lot of your joy and your gusto back. I just feel like pile 1, something to do with like integrating spiritual or metaphysical gifts into your work if you've kept them hidden. That might be really big here too. I don't know. I thought this looked like a seashell. And I was like, seashell has to do with like communication and stuff. Okay, let's talk about what needs to be released, what needs to be shifted. Are there any sort of outdated blocks or outdated beliefs that we need to work through here? So we have the Knight of Vessels, and this is the Knight of Cups. And so with this card, I feel like you might need to release some sort of like idealism or romanticism or like chasing dreams without being grounded in something. So I think that pile 1, you may need to release either like romantic notions or again, illusions about what career fulfillment should look like. So this doesn't mean giving up on dreams. I think it means tempering the dream with realism, right? So if you're familiar with the tarot, the Knight of Cups is somebody who can sometimes get lost in escapism or like following whims without anchoring them into action. Maybe some of you here are going to be releasing the belief that fulfillment will come suddenly, just like through some sort of magical opportunity without you responding to it, or like without you like co-creating or taking some sort of action on your part. Like, I know that opportunities can come miraculously, but like I feel like it's about like whether like you're paying attention or you're staying like in tune with like being, you know, responsive and being willing to take this leap, or taking this opportunity, kind of like taking the bull by the horns and going with it. Now, I also feel like some of you here might be needing to let go of the idea that passion alone is enough, right? So it's time to build as well as dream. And I think that's something that can be really, really tough with creatives. I know that's something that's tough for me. I'm like, but I'm passionate and I care and I love creating art, but it's like, if I don't stay consistent, if I don't keep putting out my work, I become less visible, right? And sometimes we have our seasons. Sometimes we're not always meant to be pushing and producing and being visible. Sometimes we need our winter seasons too, and we need our season to cocoon and to go within. But it's almost like that when you get tired, learn to rest, not quit, quote. So I just feel like consistency is coming in here, like planting the seeds. And I feel like that's kind of funny that we're saying that, because planting the seeds and we have the garden here. So yeah, it's about like that dedication and that commitment and that investment into something that's going to, yield great results, right? Because all this effort that they're putting into this garden is going to lead them to harvest and, wonderful fruits of their labor. I don't know why this tree behind her reminds me of like the Nine of Pentacles in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. So I think that a lot of you here are building self-sufficiency, abundance for yourself, right? The ability to have power and autonomy in a financial sense, Now, I also feel like some of you here are going to be moving away from roles that feed emotional codependency, like constantly rescuing or like fixing other people. We also have focus. This one says stock, and this is Sagittarius energy. So Sagittarius is all about expanding. Sagittarius is all about being direct. Sagittarius is, blunt, right? So this is about you maybe being blunt about your dreams and moving beyond your comfort zone and following your passion, right? But with focus. I also feel like those look like bay leaves. So maybe you're going to be manifesting like prosperity, abundance, or like your wishes, right? Trust your intuition here too. But I feel like, okay, with this card, I feel like this reminds us that, right, we need to like concentrate our energy. I'm wondering, pile one, like, are you scattering your talents in any way, right? Like dabbling, but not digging in. Because like, okay, I remember like for me, when I first got started with my creative journey here, I was like, I'm doing a little bit of YouTubing, and I'm doing a little bit of podcasting, and I'm doing a little bit of blogging, and I'm doing a little bit of e-commerce. And I was just kind of like dipping my toe in each pond, but not really fully jumping in completely. And so now, over half a decade later of now working for myself, I look back and I'm like, if I would have just went all in on YouTube, or if I would have just like went all in on podcasting, I would have seen maybe like more fruits of my labor, I guess. But I think that there's no wrong way to go about it. There are many paths to roam, and it's not always about the destination, but sometimes it's about the journey too. So I think that maybe there's some of you out here who are multi-passionate. You like to do many things. You can express yourself in different modes, but maybe this is like asking you to get really focused. There's something that's going to be able to make you money here. There's something that's going to be able to give you this financial freedom that you've been looking for. And so it's about honing in on that one. I'm feeling like one or two things. For many of you here, it's just one thing to go all in on it. And it's not like you're saying no to other things, but it's like focusing your attention on what you want to plant. Oh my God, I'm not even paying attention here too. Planting the seeds here. I love it. Being like you are dependable, you are loyal, you are consistent, you are committed, right? I wonder if some of you here too feel like maybe you feel laser focused on the wrong thing, like perfection or other people's approval, or maybe outdated goals. So the shift here that's needed is for you to hone in on what truly matters to you now, not what made sense to you 5 years ago, right? So maybe you chose something because it was practical for you a number of years ago, and now you're like, hey, I'm not interested in doing the practical, logical, normal stuff, right? I'm here to be unique. I'm here to be extraordinary. I'm here to do things by my own standard. Many of you here march to the beat of your own drum, and that is really, really special, and that's something that I feel like I'm being encouraged to tell you to continue to follow. Keep following your own arrow, especially for those of you who have somebody in your life who is constantly either like telling you what you like need to do, or how you need to feel, or who you need to be. I'm hearing like disregard that. Do not listen to somebody that you would not trade lives with. I keep hearing like, you're an adult, you're an adult. Interesting. For those of you who that resonates with, it will. And then of course this is a general reading, so if it doesn't, leave it. But I do feel like this is talking about like releasing distractions like people pleasing or comparison or any sort of outdated role. So maybe some of you here might have stayed in some sort of helping or supportive role that once felt right to you, but now it is diluting your energy, right? Maybe it's sucking the life force out of you. I definitely know how that feels. Overstaying in a job role that I'm just being like used, and you know what, and just not doing great. So I remember like I always have to, like, not I always have to, but I often have to get to that, like, you know what, actually, F no, I'm not going to be dealing with this. Like, I'm better than this, or I'm worth more than this. Like, it's that feeling, it's that like, oh my God, I'm effing over it. Like, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Like, that's always the thing that like breaks the mold for me. So maybe for some of you here, it's like, yeah, it's about getting tired of the BS. It's about getting tired of being so miserable. You know, it's like life wasn't meant for you to be miserable. Life was meant for you to enjoy and to savor and to prosper and to be abundant and to have fun and to do it your own way. So I just felt the need to say that. And you know, maybe some of you here have been trying to do all of the things, and it's time to just, again, focus on one area of mastery. So let's go into more, you know, guidance or advice from spirit, from higher self, or from your future self. We have plant the seeds. So with plant the seeds, I feel like this is a quiet but powerful nudge. This reminds you that you're ready to begin again, Pile 1. You don't need to leap, you just need to start planting the first seeds. So I feel like it's not like the Fool card where you're just like jumping off the ledge. You're just doing this slowly but surely. Like if I keep feeling like you're gonna leave, like some of you here are gonna leave an old job role that is like pretty much just, you're so much better than that, you know? And once you step into your new life, you're gonna be like, whoa, how did I ever like stay in that for so long? Why did I tolerate that? But this is like a slow, like it's almost like when, you know, you're leaving like a relationship with say you're in a relationship with like a narcissist and you're leaving the relationship, but you can't like tell them that you're leaving because it's dangerous for you. So you slowly but surely like kind of pack your things, and you have an escape plan, and you've got allies and a support system, the proper authorities to be there if you need to. But you're almost like strategically planning your exit behind the scenes, and then you're making a mad dash for a new start, a better life, something that you've been feeling called to for a long time. Like I feel like a lot of you here know like it's long past due, it's expired. Something has been expired. So yes, I just feel like this card reminds us that any sort of intentional beginning that may seem small right now, it's going to grow over time with care and with faith. So some advice here for you, Pile 1, either like start documenting your vision, even if it's only for you. Maybe say yes to learning or experimenting or prototyping, even if it feels messy or slow. Maybe some of you here want to create a new routine or ritual or container for your future self, right? Like a class or a project or a website. So for those of you who want to begin that blog or that course or that YouTube channel, even if you don't feel ready, this is your sign to go for it. For those of you who want to start saving money or carving out time for this career pivot, go for it. For those of you who want to reach out to collaborators or mentors that are really aligned with your authentic self, go for it, you know? I think that the overall message here is that your current energy is one that's steady and loyal, but maybe you're feeling a little worn out, and you're being invited to step back and reassess and begin building something that truly reflects you. You know, Pile 1, you have this soul that really does crave this artistry and this craftsmanship and this authenticity. You know, the space to just be your full self and not be confined by roles or any sort of emotional expectations. Right? So release the dreamer who floats without grounding and really embrace the artist, the maker, the healer, right? The authentic one, the one who plants the seeds, and not just for instant gratification, but for deep and lasting growth. We also have the Untethered Soul card. This one says, if you go very deep, that is where you live. You live in the seat of consciousness. A true spiritual being lives there without effort and without intent. Interesting. I feel like you getting clarity, or like you tapping more into the consciousness that you need around making whatever sort of change that you need to bring you more career satisfaction, is going to come from you getting still in some way, unplugging in some way, quieting down and slowing down enough so that you can hear your inner wisdom. Pile 1. Okay, let's roll some astro dice. So what will bring Pile 1 the most career fulfillment? Okay, so we have Neptune in Sagittarius. I love that we have double Sagittarius energy here. We had Sagittarius energy with the Focus stock card. With Neptune and Sagittarius in the 5th house here, I feel like doing creative visionary work that either inspires or educates others, especially through things like storytelling and teaching and, you know, spiritual guidance or the arts, will bring you the most career satisfaction, Pile 1. So think things like publishing or film, things like philosophy, things like travel, maybe even youth mentorship for some of you with like a soulful twist or something would be fun. So yes, thank you so much, Pile 1. I hope that this was super fun. Please give it a like if it resonates. Comment below with what pile you chose. I love to chat with you all in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you all. You seriously are my spiritual besties. And if you feel called to check out the rest of my channel, Tidal Tarot, I've got a bunch of other pick a card readings for you to explore from a bunch of different categories. I have them all organized for you in playlists, so check that out. And if not this time, I will see you next time. Bye friends, bye Tidal fam. Hey Pile 2, hey friends, welcome to your reading all about what will bring you the most career or job fulfillment. So let's talk about your current energy in your career or work. Where are you now? So we have the 8 of Blades here, and this is the 8 of Swords. So this could talk about feeling trapped, especially mentally, feeling stuck. This can talk about self-imposed limitations or confusion. So I wonder if some of you here are in a phase where you feel trapped or restricted, but much of this limitation is internal, right? So maybe it's coming from beliefs like I can't, or it's too late, or I'm not ready. And the 8 of Swords often talks about someone who feels like they're in like analysis paralysis, right? So second guessing your opinions, second guessing your abilities. I think that some of you here may know what you need and what you want deep down, but fear or overthinking makes you feel stuck or immobile. So maybe some of you here are in a job that doesn't reflect your values or your passions, but you can't see how to leave. Or maybe you feel like your talents don't fit the current marketplace, so you're frozen instead of exploring how they could evolve. Or maybe you're overwhelmed about how much change you think is required to pivot. We also have Chameleon Spirit here. This one says act as if. So I feel like this is the card that invites you to blend, but with intention. So you might be currently adapting too much to workplaces and clients and roles that aren't really aligned with you. Maybe you feel like you're pretending like you're okay or that you're fitting in when you're not. I wonder if some of you also feel like you're trying to embody a version of success that isn't yours, right? Like maybe you're trying to make parents proud or somebody else proud, or you feel like you have to have certain things on paper about you to make you appear successful. And this card reminds us that no, right? That's not it. And that you have spirit that isn't about faking it. It's about energetically embodying this frequency of the future you while being rooted in the truth. So maybe some of you here are playing like the corporate role to pay the bills, but you're secretly longing to express something more spiritual or more creative or more holistic. Maybe some of you here have been masking or suppressing any sort of intuitive or emotional intelligence to seem more practical or more marketable. So yeah, the overall energy with the Eight of Blades or the Eight of Swords is that maybe some of you here are feeling stuck in a role or a mindset that is too small. And maybe some of you here feel like you're adapting to survive rather than leading with your soul's voice. And so maybe there's a conflict between inner knowing and outer performance. Now let's talk about what will bring you true fulfillment. Let's talk about the career theme or the calling or the role that would be best for you. So we have the Page of Vessels here in reverse, and this one is the Page of Cups in reverse. So when this card is in reverse, it can talk about suppressed creativity. It can talk about inner child healing. It can also talk about feeling withdrawn emotionally, but it can also talk about reawakening your imagination. So I definitely think that your most fulfilling path is in reconnecting with your intuitive side, pile 2. Your imaginative, more emotional self. But maybe right now, some of you here feel like this part of you has been silenced or blocked, right? Maybe like so much of the stress that you have to deal with just like adulting and like regular life, it's just like, it like dampens the creativity, or maybe maybe it's making you feel that way. I just feel like maybe you've been taught to either like dismiss or devalue your natural sensitivity, and like I'm talking about your ability to perceive, right? Your ability to intuit information, or your dreaminess or your creative voice. So I think that for you, pile 2, fulfillment is going to come from giving that inner artist or intuitive child permission to speak again and not judging what comes out. So maybe for some of you here, you want to be a writer or a healer or a counselor or an artist, or maybe even like a spiritual practitioner whose work stems from emotional truth. I also feel like you might do best in roles where imagination or empathy or having like subtle perception are key. Maybe work that allows for like fluidity, like dream work or energy healing or intuitive readings like this, right? Or creative mentoring or some sort of expressive art. I just feel like this is the card that asks you to stop performing maturity the way that the world expects of you and instead nurture your own authentic essence, even if it's messy or dreamy or too much. We also have stars in the sky. This one says limitless possibility. So with this one, I feel like there's a calling for you to like lift your gaze a bit. You've been looking at your options through the lens of like fear and limitation. And so this is your reminder that your dreams are actually bigger than your current like view allows. This is actually talking about like multi-dimensional careers, paths that allow you to blend your soul and your strategy, right? Like your intuition and your ambition. So maybe some of you here can combine writing and art and coaching and healing or performance into something, super unique, something that no one's ever seen before. Pile 2, you're just not meant to fit in a box. I think you're meant to create your own container. So maybe wanting to be an online platform here, like YouTube or TikTok, right? Or whatever it is that resonates with you. Maybe your own website. Being known for being a visionary teacher or a storyteller or intuitive guidance could also be vehicles for your expression. I just think your overall fulfillment here, pile 2, is going to come when you honor your dreamer, your sensitive self, your childlike wonder, and when you trust in a path that hasn't been done before, which I know can be scary, but I think that you were not meant to follow, you're meant to lead, you're meant to carve out your own path. And I think you really do have the energy of being a trailblazer. And I kind of love that I'm saying that, because they're clearing away the trail, right? They're making way. Yeah. Okay, so what needs to be released? What needs to be shifted? What sort of blocks or outdated beliefs maybe need some work? So we have the Tower. This one says the Castleton Tower. Okay, so the Tower can represent things like radical change, like crumbling illusions, or maybe even the destruction of false foundations. So this is huge, pile 2. Something in your current career reality, maybe it has to do with like identity or your belief system. I wonder if it feels like it's not built on truth, because the Tower can represent either like a sudden or a necessary shift that really does tear down illusions, especially those that are tied to things like status or ego or, you know, societal definitions of success. I think that you may need to let go of a role or identity or an expectation that you've clung to, even if it gave you this sense of safety. So, for example, maybe some of you here are going to be releasing a career path that you pursued to please others, like I mentioned earlier. Or maybe some of you here are leaving behind an identity, right? Like, for example, maybe you're leaving behind always being the reliable one, right? Or always being the logical one. It's like, no, I'm not going to be the logical one. I'm going to be creative. Maybe you are letting go of the idea that you can't make money from your gifts, right? Maybe you are letting a system or a structure collapse, be that like a job or a title or a relationship that just really doesn't feel like it aligns anymore. We also have strength, and this one says fennel, and we have Virgo energy here. So I feel like this is asking you to shift from like willpower based strength, you know, like enduring, surviving, suppressing, into like more inner grounded resilience. Fennel is also about digestive health, literally and metaphorically. So I wonder if some of you here are trying to digest or tolerate too much. I wonder if some of you here have swallowed beliefs that aren't yours. So maybe a couple different things to release here would be the belief that you have to muscle your way through everything, or the idea that vulnerability or softness equals weakness, or overfunctioning in toxic work environments, right? And I think it's time for you to shift toward surrender and softness and sustainable strength. This is the time to allow grace and support to flow in and let your body and your emotions guide you more than logic alone. So I do think that the overall shift here is that you're being asked to crack open, and the truth will shake you free, but only if you let go of old definitions of strength and success, right? So you're rewiring your mind, you're changing your perspective. Now let's dive into any guidance or advice from spirit, from your higher self, or from your future self. So we do have meditation to dig deep. And so with this one, I feel like, I don't know, I keep hearing like kind of safeguarding your treasure, right? Like your newly found treasure. I also feel like your next step is not external. It's more about like a soul excavation. So this is the card that reminds us to go within and to unearth what needs to be buried, right? So the desires that you dismissed, any sort of intuitive hits that you ignored. I think this is a time to go deep and discover that voice within you that still believes in wonder, right? So maybe some of you here would benefit from regular practices that connect you to the stillness of where your future self resides. So some advice here, maybe you want to sit in silence and ask, what am I afraid to admit that I want? I remember for a long time for me, I was really afraid of admitting that I wanted to be a stay-at-home parent to my kids. And my husband is extremely supportive of that idea. And he's always just extremely, I hit the husband lottery, and I'm not just like saying that to brag or anything, but I'm just saying that like for those of you who are looking for someone who's like going to support any sort of dream that you have, no matter what, just know that that person's out there for you. Like I didn't think that I would find somebody like that too. I've definitely grown up around a lot of external pressure, a lot of like people telling me what I should do, who I should be, what is important, what looks good. For any of you who have experienced like a relationship with a narcissistic personality, I think you would know what I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to say is, like, even though like maybe some of you have like some people who maybe support what you're like going through, maybe friends, maybe a partner, or maybe not your partner, maybe a family member, and it's vice versa, and your partner doesn't support, either way, I just feel like there's something that you might want to admit that you actually want, right? Or if you really, really want to be a remote worker, then maybe it's time to just be, I think this is about being honest with yourself, right? Like, before we can be honest with others, like, we need to be honest with ourselves about what we want. So I'm feeling that here. I also feel like maybe it's time to maybe like journal, right? Journal from the voice of your inner child or your future self or your highest self. And another thing too is, just because it says meditation to dig deep, I feel like either meditation or breath work to move through fear and to reconnect to feeling could be a big thing here. So a couple things that come up with this card is like, I think, so I have some really good questions. Okay, so the first one is, what part of me have I been hiding to stay safe? Right? So is it the creative side? Is it your intuitive side, right? Like for me, I've always kind of held back my intuitive abilities because I thought it would make me different or weird, and I just wanted to like blend and like be liked when I was younger and a kid. And I still see that popping up every once in a while too, but it's like, if I suppressed my gifts and held back and never took a chance on myself, well, then I wouldn't be here right now, right? So that's like one question. Another one here is, what would I create if I knew I wouldn't fail? Right? What would you create if you knew you wouldn't be judged? I'm feeling the need to tell you, like, find a platform that makes you feel safe, or find a platform to express that you can like go all in. Like for YouTube, oh my gosh, like this has been such a blessing for me. I just love this community so much. You all are so supportive. I love to hear your insights and your intuitive guidance that comes up. I just feel like it's such a beautiful community, and so I feel like that is something that's waiting for you on the other side of all of this too. Pile 2, your community is waiting for you. Like-minded people are waiting for you. So yeah, what are you being called to express? What would you create if you knew you wouldn't fail or be judged? And really the overall question here is, who are you becoming when you drop the act, right? When you stop trying to hold yourself together for some sort of image or standard that somebody else has placed upon you. So I just feel like pile 2, you're in like this chrysalis, right? This place of tightness, but also potential. Maybe you've been adapting to survive, but I really do feel like your soul is ready to create and thrive. Your fulfillment lies in the return to emotional truth, right? And imagination and spiritual alignment and authentic vulnerability, right? Pile 2, you're not here to repeat a career path, but you're actually here to invent one that's rooted in your soul, not fear. So in order to do this, you got to let the old fall away, right? And the mask must drop, and the dreamer must rise again. We also have an untethered soul card. This one says, fear is a thing. It's just another object in the universe that you are capable of experiencing. Interesting. So for those of you who have been feeling like the fear of taking the leap, the fear of taking a chance on your dreams, just remember, the sky's the limit. You have so much possibility out there for you, pile 2. Right? It's time to act as if there is a future version of yourself who is already acting and embodying this energy. Right? So lean on that future self, lean on this higher guidance for strength. Right? Fear is just a thing. So I want to roll some astro dice. Oh, you know what? I want to roll astro dice, but I also want to check out Chameleon Spirit and see if there's any additional information for you. I will link this for you in the description if you feel called. Okay, Chameleon. Okay, so this one says pacing, shape-shifting, perception, environment, mystery, divine flow, method, third eye, and psychic insight. Oh my gosh, I love this. When to work with me. When you need your energy to be balanced, when you want to embrace change, when you want to embody your full power, when you want to open your supernatural abilities, when you want stronger intuition, when you want to see the truth, when you want a better game plan. I am here to remind you to be aware of the opportunities all around you. Ask yourself how you can more actively move toward your goal. I remind you of the importance of seeing truth and listening to your intuition. Blinding yourself to the intentions of others won't serve you. I represent the power of surrender and flow. If you have been pushing too hard, work with me to learn how to trust and let go. If your environment is changing, remember that you have the full power to harmoniously align with the new. Work with the energies of the new space and shift into the ways you are guided to. I remind you to face all aspects of yourself, shadow and light, as this lets you shine fully, be at peace, and truly thrive. Interesting. Some chameleons can change colors, and in this practice, you'll work with color healing to reveal what practices can support you. So I'm going to give you this in the Cliff's Notes version. So you're going to close your eyes. You can do this later on too if you feel like it, but if you feel like doing it now, close your eyes, take a deep breath, connect with yourself, and imagine yourself as a chameleon, right? And you as a chameleon can change to any color of the rainbow. So when you feel centered and calm, ask yourself, if I could be any color of the rainbow today, what would I be? And so for me, when I did this, I just went blue. So blue here is now is the time to be vocal. Sing, chant, or have the conversations you've been putting off. Big time. Big time. Resonates for me. If it was red for you, it's time for grounding and body connection. Make time for reconnecting to your body through massage, physical activity, or breath work. If it was orange, you have creative energies that want to express themselves. Make time to be artistic, write, or collaborate on something new. Yellow. Are you holding back your full joy and authentic expression? It's time to share your truth with the world. Green. Your heart has so much love to give. Who can you call? What charity can you support? Where can you volunteer? In what ways can you be gentler and more compassionate with yourself? And then I read blue, and then if it was purple, divine support is all around you. Now is the time to open up your spiritual pathways to connect to the unseen realms. Pile 2, let me know what color came up for you in the comments. I am so curious. Okay, now let's roll our astro dice to get more info on what would bring pile 2 the most career satisfaction. So we have Saturn in Libra in the 4th house. So with Saturn in Libra in the 4th house, pile 2, I feel like creating harmony and structure at home or in nurturing roles like, you know, careers in interior design or real estate, maybe therapy, law, family counseling. I just feel like you'll feel most fulfilled when you're fostering balance, right? Or justice or security in like emotionally rooted environments. So yes. Thank you so much, pile 2. I hope that this reading was fun for you. I hope that it resonates. Please give this video a like if it does. Comment below with what came up for you, with what pile you chose. I love to hear all of your insights in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. I would love to have you here. And please take care of yourself, friends. Thank you so much, Tidal Tribe. I really appreciate you here. It's such an honor and a joy to read for you. I really appreciate all of your energy. It is so beautiful. I'm just so grateful for this community. I can't say it enough. And if you feel called to check out my channel, Tidal Tarot, I've got a bunch of other pick a card readings for you to explore from a bunch of different topics, and I have them all organized in a playlist now. And if not this time, I will see you next time. Bye, Tidal Tribe. Bye, friends. Hey, pile 3. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading all about what will bring you the most career or job fulfillment. So let's talk about your current energy in work and where you're at now. This is also a way for you to confirm whether this is your pile or not. If it sounds like you, it's your pile. If it's not, then you might want to choose a different pile. Okay, so what's your current energy at work? Where are you currently at? We have the King of Blades in reverse here, and so this is the King of Swords. So this can represent things like over-analysis or like misuse of the intellect, right? Rigidity, maybe burnout from feeling like you're too in your head. I don't know if you're operating from a place of like mental overload or feeling like you have to know everything or solve everything or speak from authority even when you're exhausted or unsure. Now, there may be a harsh inner critic at play, or maybe somebody even at work, in your work environment, that values logic over emotion and control over flow. So you may be suppressing your intuitive knowing, maybe you're over planning instead of trusting. Maybe some of you here are going through feelings of imposter syndrome, right? So maybe some of you here are in a leadership or decision-making role, but you feel disconnected from your heart or your creativity. I wonder too, like, you're trying to figure it all out instead of moving forward organically. And some of you here are exhausted from always needing to have the right answer, right? So this card reverse can talk about a person who is highly intelligent and capable, but maybe a person who feels like their gifts are being used in the wrong context, or maybe even from a place of fear. Now, we also have Antelope Spirit, and this one says life is speeding up. So there's definitely momentum building here, pile 3, whether you see it or not. There's definitely this change on the horizon, and the universe is nudging you to keep pace and adapt and act. But when you pair that with the reversed King of Swords, I feel like there's some sort of tension, right? Like your soul is ready to move, but your mind might be clinging to control. So maybe like opportunities or intuitive nudges are coming in faster than you can rationalize, and maybe some of you here feel overwhelmed, right? Like things are happening too fast. But this is your sign to loosen the mental grip and trust. You're being pushed to shift from intellectual control to embodied movement. This is you trusting your instincts even when you don't have all of the answers. All right, so let's talk about what will bring you true fulfillment, right? What is the career theme for you? What is, your calling? What is your role? So we have the Two of Stones here, and this is the Two of Pentacles. So this can represent things like balance. It can represent flexibility, adaptability, being able to multitask in a creative way. So I do feel like your most fulfilling path involves balancing multiple passions or skills or even identities. This is not about hustling harder, but it's about embracing your multidimensional nature, right? So you're not here to just do one thing. You'll thrive in a career that allows movement and variety and creativity and rhythm. So maybe for some of you here, you would resonate with being some sort of creative entrepreneur who juggles offerings like coaching or writing or intuitive work. Maybe some of you here want to live a project-based lifestyle, right? So freelancing, contracting, rotating through different roles. Another thing here too is I feel like many of you here have the energy of being like a healer or a guide, somebody who blends multiple modalities, right? Like astrology, breathwork, art therapy, tarot, astrology, human design, like, right? Some sort of like blending of multiple modalities. I really do feel like you're capable of doing more than one thing as well, as long as it's aligned with your joy and like not obligation. We also have Horseman. This one says Herald of Change. I feel like this is your future self galloping in, right? Telling you that change is not only coming, but it's your path to fulfillment. This is the energy that's bold and brave and action oriented. Pile 3, you're being asked to stop waiting for the perfect time and to start embodying the identity of the person that you're becoming. You might be called to move or shift industries or rebrand or radically change direction in some way. This could involve stepping into visibility or launching a podcast or a YouTube channel or teaching workshops or leading others in some way. So it could be as simple and profound as finally taking your dreams seriously, right? Like when I started taking my career here on YouTube seriously, that's when everything changed, right? When I stopped treating it like a little hobby or like a little passion project, and when I really got serious about it, it blew open the doors for everything. You are here to move with courage, right? You are here to explore multiple creative, integrative paths, and you are here to trust that the momentum that you feel, it isn't chaos, right? It's destiny in motion. So let's talk about what needs to be released, what needs to be shifted, any sort of outdated blocks or beliefs, right? We have the Queen of Vessels. This is the Queen of Cups. This can represent things like emotional intelligence, empathy, compassion, right? Your intuition. So this card is super powerful, but it's really gentle as well. So I wonder if your emotional sensitivity or like your emotional perceptiveness is like, what do they say? It's like it's a strength, but it's also something that might be a block in some way, or like, I don't want to call it a block, but I feel like some of you here could be like overgiving. Maybe you're emotionally caretaking or people pleasing or absorbing the energy of others to your own detriment. I think that some of you here could feel like you're undervaluing your emotional wisdom, right? Maybe you think that some of your softer gifts like intuition or nurturing or creativity aren't as valid in the career space, which is not true because these are so valuable, right? And actually, like, corporate companies will seek out people with abilities and, you know, skills that they don't have to optimize their company, right? People love getting insights from people who think differently and live differently and act differently. So I wonder if some of you here are holding back from offering spiritual or emotional or artistic work because it doesn't seem serious enough, right? Some of you here could be sacrificing your needs to maintain harmony. We also have transition. This one says cauliflower. We have Cancer energy here. So cauliflower represents this like gentle surrender to transformation, right? It's detox, it's softness. And so I think that your transition doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but it just has to be real. So maybe it's time to let go of the belief that change has to be a struggle. Or maybe you want to let go of any old emotional patterns that keep you from acting boldly. Maybe you want to let go of the idea that you have to choose between being kind and being powerful. So pile 3, it's time to stop muting your inner wisdom in order to stay safe or in order to stay small. You have this bounty of emotional depth that's powerful. So it's time for you to start seeing it that way. And don't let anybody tell you that your emotional depth is a weakness, right? It's your compass. I think that boundaries are needed and change is something that must be embraced, right? Not feared. So let's talk about any guidance, any sort of advice from spirit, your higher self, or your future self. We have follow your dreams. It looks like this person is ready to like take off on flight on their broom, right? They've lit their candles, they've done their spell work, they've done their divining, and now they're ready to follow their dreams. I also think that this could represent like you following your intuitive dreams too. Got the crystal ball, all of the intuitive, spiritual, witchy things. I love that. Okay, so I just want to say, first of all, this is not a cliche, right? It's like a soul directive. You're actually being guided to stop postponing or rationalizing or hiding your true desires behind shoulds. Follow your dreams isn't just about ambition, but it's more about sacred alignment. Pile 3, you already know what your dream is, right? Even if it's faint or buried under fear or, you know, waiting behind like the wall of logic. Your job now is to excavate it and then to take even one small step toward it. So advice and actions here, pile 3. Maybe you want to journal or ask yourself, what have I always dreamed of doing if money or age or time weren't an issue? Maybe some of you here want to create a dream map or a visual or a written plan of your ideal work-life expression. I think that this is your week to take one bold step, right? Reach out, apply, post, record, announce, whatever it is that you have to do. Not have to do, because, right, we're moving out of obligation. Whatever it is that you feel called to do. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be in motion. And your path is going to unfold as you walk it, not before, right? So we also have the untethered soul card. This one says, your heart is an instrument made of extremely subtle energy that few people come to appreciate. But in truth, you are not your heart. You are the experiencer of your heart. Wow. Again, I feel like this talks about you being very intuitive, very psychic, being able to pick up on subtle energies. But I also feel like it reminds you that whatever emotions that come up for you, right? Because we're human and we feel a complex range of emotions. Just know that you are not your emotion. You are the experiencer of your emotion, right? So if you feel angry, you're not an angry person. You are experiencing that emotion, right? Horse. So this one says travel, expansion, freedom, psychic gifts, ding, ding, ding. We've been talking about that a lot. Power, sexuality, devotion, loyalty, connection, and adventure. So when to work with me, when you want to feel free, when you want to break through limitations, when you want to unleash your full power, when you want to experience loyalty and devotion, when you are ready to embark on a new adventure, and when you want to have healthy sexual experiences. I am assigned that it is time to give attention, loyalty, and devotion to your most intimate relationships. Where are you holding back in life? The power inside of you that wishes to be ignited and expressed. I urge you to light this power. I keep hearing like, it's time to go. Go, 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 pile 3. Right? It's time to take action on your dreams. It's time to express yourself. I keep hearing No More Hiding. That song, I'll link this for you in the description if you feel called to check it out more. I keep hearing that song No More Hiding from SZA. I think she says in that song like, no more hiding, I want to feel sun on my skin. It's like this, right? You're ready to take off. It's like you got 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards. It's like, we're ready to go. We're ready to hit the road. It's a time of transition. Okay, so let's pull some astro dice. Pile 3. What will bring you the most career or job fulfillment? So we have Taurus. And, oh, sorry, actually we have the South Node in Taurus in the 9th house. With South Node in Taurus in the 9th house, pile 3, this is all about letting go of comfort zones. This is all about embracing growth through exploration, things like teaching, publishing, philosophy, right? This is all 9th house things. These are the things that will bring you career satisfaction. So I think it would be important to look for careers that involve sharing your wisdom, right? Or giving some sort of global perspective or spiritual truth. This is all what we talked about. So aligned. I love it. And I think the biggest thing here, pile 3, is to avoid clinging to material security or routine. So yes, thank you so much, pile 3. Thank you, friends. Please give this video a like if it resonates, if you had fun with it. Please comment below with what pile you chose or what came up for you. I love hearing your insights. And if you feel called to check out my channel, Tidal Tarot, I've got a bunch of other pick a card readings for you to explore from a bunch of different topics and categories. And I actually have just organized them into playlists to make it easier for you to find. So if not this time, I will see you next time. Love you so much, friends. Have a beautiful day. I really do appreciate you, and I'm honored to just have this community with you. So I will see you later. Love y'all, friends. Bye. Hey, pile 4. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading all about what will bring you the most career or job fulfillment. So let's talk about your current energy in your work. Let's talk about where you're at now. And yeah. So we have the 6 of Stones in reverse. And so this can represent things like overgiving, maybe feeling like a lack of reciprocity, or maybe scarcity mindset around value. There's definitely this feeling of like imbalance here. So I don't know if you've been pouring into work that isn't pouring back into you. Maybe some of you here are underpaid, undervalued, or maybe you're operating in an environment where you feel like the exchange of effort and the reward is off. Right? So maybe you could be giving away your talents, maybe out of fear or obligation. I'm hearing like family business for some of you here too. Select some of you. Maybe some of you here are even struggling with a belief that you're not ready to charge what you're worth, or you're not ready to take action on what you really want to do. So for some of you here, maybe you're working in some sort of like supportive or caregiving role where you feel emotionally generous but financially strained. Or maybe some of you here are offering free or underpriced services while others profit more. For those of you who are running a creative or intuitive or healing-based business, or you want to do these things, maybe you feel guilty about charging for work that comes naturally to you. I also want to point out, just because it comes easy to you doesn't mean it comes easy to other people, right? So it's time to honor these skills that are natural to you. You are special, you are unique. I'm not just saying this to gas you up. I'm just stating the truth. So yes. Pile 4, are you receiving as much as you're giving? And really on a deeper level, do you believe that you deserve more? Right? We also have Beaver Spirit. This one says lay a solid foundation. So I feel like this is encouraging you to create something that feels sustainable and lasting, something that's rooted in self-worth and clarity and integrity. The beaver builds with intention and care and practicality, right? So if you've been stuck in roles that feel emotionally draining or unsustainable, this is your call to step back and build a base that will hold you through the long term. So some examples here are setting financial goals and clear energetic boundaries in your work, or starting to create your own offerings or platforms rather than relying on other people to validate your worth. Or maybe you want to invest time in foundational planning or business structure or brand clarity or certifications or community, right? I just feel like you're in this phase of recalibration, and there's definitely this feeling of imbalance or burnout. And so now you're being asked to pause and to build something deeply aligned and durable. right? And this all starts with a belief in your own value. So let's talk about what will bring you true fulfillment, right? What is the career theme? What is your calling? What is the role? So we have the Lovers, and this one is Niagara Falls State Park. So the Lovers can represent making heart-aligned choices, having a soulful connection, sacred commitment, integration, right? So this points to work that is deeply aligned with your soul and your values. It's not just about what you do, it's about how and why you do it, Pal 4. I think that your fulfillment will come through partnership or devotion or creative union or some sort of service that's rooted in love. So again, like a heart-centered role, a therapist, a coach, a healer, relationship guide, maybe a spiritual mentor. I also think a business or a creative partnership that allows both freedom and mutual support could be good. And this is the card that also signifies choice, right? So know that the right choice will feel loving and not logical, right? It won't always make sense, but it will feel like home. Now, we also have Unmarked Trail. This one says Revelation. So the path to fulfillment for you, Pile 4, is one that you're probably going to carve for yourself. This is like a sacred detour, a path that really isn't linear or traditional by any means. So this is my pile that's probably pioneering a new approach or blending seemingly unrelated passions or really stepping into some sort of uncharted spiritual or creative territory. So maybe some of you here are creating a soul-based business or a spiritual brand that doesn't follow a typical structure. Maybe some of you here are developing your own method or modality or message from lived experience. Or maybe some of you here are changing careers radically after a moment of intuitive clarity. If you can hear my little dog snoring in the background, he's taking a morning nap. He's so cute. My. But yeah, some of you here are going to be changing careers radically after a moment of like intuitive clarity. So Pile 4, you're here to walk a path of meaningful devotion to love, soul, truth, and creative freedom. So you will thrive where you can express your truth freely and originally. So what needs to be shifted, right? What sort of blocks or outdated beliefs need to be released? So we have 2 cards. I usually typically just pull like 1 card for each of these like positions or each of these questions, but 2 came out for you. So we have the 5 of Stones, it's the 5 of Pentacles, and this can represent things like fear of lack, scarcity, rejection, maybe even feeling left out or unsupported. So I wonder if there's any sort of lingering beliefs around not having enough or not being enough. Maybe this stems from past trauma, right? Feeling unrecognized, unsupported, or maybe even financially insecure. I wonder if there's a fear that if you follow your true path, you'll be abandoned or broke or vulnerable, right? So maybe some of you here are telling yourself like, no one's going to pay for this, or I have to do this alone, or if I stop giving, I'll lose everything. And I really do think that this belief often comes from early wounding, and it needs to be addressed and healed at like a nervous system level as well as mental, right? Like I'm hearing sometimes you can do all the talk therapy in the world, but maybe it's time to like dive into somatic practices or like EMDR, just kind of hearing these things. We also have the 10 of Stones. This is the 10 of Pentacles. So this represents things like legacy and family patterns and security and tradition and wealth. I love that this comes on the heels of the 5 of Pentacles because it's like you're shifting out of scarcity and you're moving into abundance and security and legacy. I think that maybe some of you here have inherited beliefs like stick with the safe job or don't take risks or success looks like a 9-to-5 with benefits. Or maybe you've been placing pressure on yourself to build a legacy before you've allowed your soul to fully bloom. I don't know if some of you here have chosen a secure job over a soul-aligned path because of family expectations. Maybe some of you here believe that fulfillment only comes after reaching material benchmarks. Maybe that's what you've been told growing up. We also have grounding, potato. We have Virgo energy here. So yeah, this earthy energy, I feel like it's encouraging you to get rooted in what is real and what's true for you, not what society or what family deems successful, right? So it's time for you to release the belief that you have to overachieve to feel worthy, Pile 4, or that your creativity or that your calling isn't enough. I feel like you're being guided to ground in self-trust rather than tradition or fear. It's time for you to let go of scarcity and your inherited fear, right? You don't need to follow this well-worn path to be secure. You are your own foundation, Pile 4. So let's dive into any guidance, any advice from a spirit or your higher self or your future self. So we have go with the flow. I feel like this one is talking about like ease and receptivity and trust and co-creation. So pile 4, you have been doing the heavy lifting or fighting to prove or performing for way too long now, right? And so spirit is asking you to like soften your grip here. Things might not happen exactly as planned, but they will happen when you align your natural rhythm and your divine timing. A couple pieces of advice here, pile 4. I think it's time to surrender to what's already working, what brings you peace, not just results. This is also your time to practice saying yes to what feels easy or nourishing or joyful, even if things feel unproductive by typical standards, right? It's also time for you to let go of micromanaging your path, stay open to unexpected doors, right? Ease is not laziness, it's about alignment. So the more that you trust yourself, the more clearly you're going to see the way forward. And then we also have an untethered soul card. So this one says, fortunately, deep within us, there is a direct connection to the divine. Not only do you have a direct connection to the divine, but to the divinity within yourself too, right? Sometimes we look for the answers outside of ourselves when all we had to do is get still and get quiet enough to hear our own wisdom. So I think this is reminding you that your wisdom, your intuitive strength, your power is a lot more powerful than you realize. Okay, I want to pull info from Beaver Spirit really quick. I'll link this book for you in the description if you feel called. Beaver Spirit, what else does pile 4 need to know? Okay, so we have Beaver. Okay, Beaver. This one says, nighttime, builder, at home, teeth, teamwork, dreams, close family, and open-mindedness. When to work with me, when you want to build something strong, when you want healthy relationships and team dynamics, when you want to go after your dreams, when you want a happy home, when you want to balance work and play, when you want to get out of your own way. I love that. Check in with yourself to assess whether you are self-sabotaging at this time. Are you blocking or damming up your own success due to unconscious fears? I remind you that with strong family connections and proper teamwork, powerful visions can not only become a reality, but also exceed far beyond your greatest imagination. Is there a dream that you gave up on that still stirs in your soul? Swim in meditative waters to inquire within whether you should activate that dream again. There's so many confirmations here. This is a lot about what we spoke about earlier in the reading. It's time for you to take a chance on yourself, right? It's time to realize that by you stifling yourself or your creativity, or like it's also like holding back like the beautiful help that you could be giving other people too, is what I'm feeling. Okay, so let's roll some astro dice and find out more information about pile 4. What will bring you the most career or job fulfillment, pile 4? Okay, so we have Neptune in Pisces in the 5th house. So pile 4 with Neptune and Pisces in the 5th house here. Again, creative soul aligned work, right? Especially in the arts or healing or spiritual fields. Anything that allows you to inspire others, to express emotion, or to lose yourself in some sort of imaginative flow, I think would be huge for you, right? So think film, music, writing, intuitive coaching, content creation. Anything involving maybe even performance or working with children, maybe healing the inner child, being playful. So many different things here, but I hope that was fun for you, pile 4. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please give this video a like if you did. Comment below with what came up for you, with what pile you chose. I really love to hear all of your insights. They're always so very cool, and I feel like sometimes you guys pick up on things that I don't pick up on too, so that's why I love this community so much. I just feel like so honored to have you all as spiritual besties, and I'm just grateful that we have this safe space to be ourselves and to hold space for each other too. So if you feel called, check out my channel, Tidal Tarot. I've got a bunch of other pick a card readings for you to explore, and I have organized them in playlists now, so it makes it easy for you to, you know, choose pick a cards based on your favorite topic. So if not this time, I will see you on the next reading, and love y'all so much, and take care. Bye friends. Bye Tidal Tribe. Love y'all.